we're going to use our resistance bands and our straps and our balls and blocks today. So if you've got all of that handy, and then we're going to start with standing and using the balls against the wall, just as a way to really set ourselves up, get things flowing in the body. So you can find your tennis balls. I think it's time. Welcome. We bring the balls right between the shoulders, between the shoulder blades, but not on the spine, and just a little up and down. Taking a couple of deep breaths. And bring your hands up, wiggle the fingers, and take a look down at the toes, and you can lift the toes up and down, the feet just rolling on the heels a little bit, and then rotate the wrists and ankles. And if you come up and down lots, you'll notice not only are we waking up the back body, but we're also waking up the knees and the quadriceps. So you're just going to come down as low as your knees allow. So up and down. You might want to move the balls around occasionally, or walk your feet out even further to change things up. You're allowed to moan and groan, maybe purr, whatever wants to come up for you, and keep moving the balls around, and eventually you'll find those spots that you want to linger in. So just a reminder tonight to move in ways that are wise and supportive for you, whatever's going on in your body. Listen, respond, act accordingly, modifying whether it's hips, knees, shoulders, or maybe tonight it's energy. So moving in like an instinctual way, taking care of yourself throughout the whole practice. And then grab hold of just one of the balls, go right to the hip. You can do a little bunch of circles, or just back and forth, or up and down, just on one hip. Now you think about the SI joint and the sacrum and the piriformis and the muscle groups, the glutes. You can go right over to the other hip. This has lots and lots of physical benefits. One thing it also does is just help us to come into the body. If we're busy in the brain, if we're busy thinking, sometimes we get disjointed from our body. So go to the side too, so right the hip flexor, so right on the side. And you might even be able to go up and down into the IT band, along the outside edge of the leg. Sometimes that's awkward. You can just hang out on the hip flexor. And explore, maybe a little bit in the front, maybe not. And of course, if you're tight at the cross of the chest, the sternum, across the pecs, then take a moment and work there too. And I think also that's one of those things, if you don't know if you're tight, sometimes until you work with the balls or you practice your yoga, then you realize that, yeah, you've got some spots that you either were ignoring or just no awareness, detached or disassociated with certain parts of our body. Try your hands too. The palm of the hands have lots and lots of reflex points. So grab the balls in your hands, lean into the hands, and then go up the forearms. Plane just a little bit. And while you're playing, think about what you're looking for in practice today. Set an intention for your yoga practice. You can pick a virtue or quality that you'd like to cultivate. Maybe peace, or being present, or kindness, or patience, or something else. And set an intention around that quality or virtue. And then give it a try. If you never have, give it a try. Bring the, I think you can only do one at a time, but right along the breastbone, between the shoulder, the pectoral muscles, to the sternum, just to see. All the way across, all the way back. And then come over to your mat again, and we'll do the bit on the feet. Just noticing how your body feels today. You can get a little smile happening as you survey your hands and your wrists and your arms and your shoulders. Just noticing. And of course the foot. You can decide how much pressure. Lots and lots of pressure, a little bit of pressure. What's best for you tonight? Oops. Then try the other foot. Just a little bit. Same thing. There might be sometimes when you want to, pause and hang out and go a little harder, and other times you'll say, no, I think light effleurage is best. Just a tiny bit of pressure, a little flowing. And sometimes you can even hear little crunchy sounds when you're working with the balls, just like you can when you're giving a massage or when we're moving in yoga practice. It's like you could hear it and feel it at the same time, the little crunchy sounds breaking up adhesions. It's really, really nice. So we're going to revisit the balls once we come down, but you can move them off to the side and then just give your hands a little shake and your arms a little shake. See if you can stand up nice and tall, and then inhale the hands up into big giant stretch. Reach up, grab hold of the left wrist, exhale, stretch over the right. Inhale up, and exhale all the way over to the other side. Think of the practice as inquiry, never competition. Let's go side to side again. We want to avoid the feeling that you're straining or striving, and find a way to relax into a delicious stretch. Think more along those lines than striving or straining. Come all the way back up. Bring the hands around behind you. Clasp the hands together. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, and then see if the arms want to lift. And if they don't want to lift, just play with that a little bit. See how far do they want to come up. How do the shoulders feel tonight? And you can let them rest at the waistline or lift. Square the feet. Shift into jackknife. And then soften the knees. So we'll take the hamstrings out of this equation, just stretching through the glutes and the lower back. Arms float up, 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 and then over. Or maybe your hands are resting on your waistline. Turn your head side to side. All the way to one side. All the way to the other side. And now press with the feet to come all the way back up. Nice and slow, 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 slow. Once you're all the way up, bring your hands onto your sacrum. Bend the knees, press the hips forward, and now lengthen from the pubic bone to the belly button to the rib cage. Peek up, and then come all the way back up, and run the hands along the legs all the way back down. Once the hands are on the mat, you might want to bend your knees, hands on the mat. Walk the hands forward, reach the feet back until you're in downward dog, and stretch out through the heels, through the calves, the heels. Drop the crown of the head right down. Keep pressing with the fingertips. And then you can drop down onto your knees, and if you've got a cushion or something grab hold of that. And we'll come into a comfortable seated position. Once you're seated, just take a look around you. Make sure you've got everything that you need as far as your water and your straps and your tennis balls. It's nice just to have them there, and even an extra folded up blanket or cushion, Kleenex box for pranayama sometimes, and then sitting tall. Press the sit bones down. Let the arms float up one more time. Grabbing hold of the left wrist, stretching over to the right. And then side to side. And up. Hands come all the way back behind you. I'm going to try this seated now. Arms float up and fold forward.
Let the arms do a little side to side. Maybe one shoulder towards one knee and then over to the other side.
And then come all the way back up. Release the hands and circle the shoulders. So close your eyes and settle inside. Circle the other way. See if you can begin to deepen and lengthen your breath. Relax the hands down onto the knees, palms down. Drop the chin towards the chest. As you breathe in, drag the chin all the way over to one side. Peek over the shoulder and exhale down. All the way over to the other side. And down. And then up. Arch the spine this time, moving into a bit of a back bend. As you lift the chin up, drop the shoulders back, lift the chest up, pulse the chin. Feel the lengthening all through the front of the throat. And release. And then drop the right ear to the shoulder. And then the left. And then all the way back up. Turn the head side to side. And come all the way back. And then bring your hands up in front of you. Open the fingers wide. Close your eyes. Open the mouth wide. And release. Drop your hands to the mat. We're going to walk the hands forward and drop into our child's pose. You can come right down onto your knees. Drop the crown of the head down. Maybe you want to have a cushion underneath your head. You can do that. Or you can have your hands reaching out as you drop down. And you might have your toes curled under. You might have your toes flat on the mat. Reach forward with the hands, reach back with the hips. And now walk your hands all the way over to the right. And peek over your right shoulder and breathe. And then walk your hands all the way back to center and keep going all the way over to the left. And then come all the way back to center. And then from here, open the knees wide.
wide as you can. Let the hips do a little roll back and forth. Big toes can stay together. Bring your heels to your left, or your hips to your left heel, then your right. Bring your hands in, make fists with the hands. Rest your forehead on your hands. And let the hips do a little rocking again. And we'll come up into table and switch it up a little. It's so similar. Anahatanasana or puppy pose is so similar to child's pose, but different. So walk the hands from table, hands as far forward as you can. Drop down onto the forearms and now tug the hips back and drop the chest down. Rest your forehead on your mat and take a nice deep breath in as you settle in to Anahatanasana, heart melting pose. You can just feel and notice the heart dropped down. Hips are way up in the air. And then draw yourself forward over the hands, and we're going to come right down onto our side and then right down onto our backs. You can put your blanket underneath your head if you'd like to have a cushion. Once you are on your back, wiggle to the center. Draw your knees into your chest. Chin's going to be tucked. And think of this as just a moment for a hug for yourself. Think about something in your life that you are grateful for. You could phrase it, I am grateful for, and you could make a little silent, great gratitude phrase to yourself. I'm grateful for. Think about maybe something about yourself that you're grateful for. It could be really simple. It could be your cookies that you make, the smiles, or it could be something about, your long legs. It could be all kinds of different things. Let's do a little rocking while you're thinking about something about yourself you're grateful for. If it's really difficult, think of something. Maybe you could think of something somebody's told you about yourself that they're grateful for. Maybe it's could be punctuality, your patience, your resilience, your calmness. So keep rocking side to side. And then come back to center and bring the bottoms of your feet together. Reach up, grab hold of the feet and rock again. Smile up at the ceiling. Maybe you're looking up at the sky. And come back to center. Move into happy baby. Open the feet a little wider. And you could rock some more. All the way to one side. All the way to the other side. And then come back to center and straighten your legs up towards the ceiling. Straighten the hands up and circle the wrists again, and now circle the feet. Big circles. See if you could provoke some of those crackles, those little snap, crackle pops in the smaller joints. Circle the other way. And now straighten the legs up as much as you can. Press the heel up, drop the toes towards you. Press the heel of the hand up, drop the fingertips towards you. Lift your head and shoulders up off the mat, and now point your toes pressively with the front of the wrist and go back and forth. Heel, toe, front of the wrist, back of the wrist. Good. Clasp the hands now behind your head, so your head's supported as you lift it up off the mat. Squeeze the pelvic floor, and as you inhale, lift your hips up. As you exhale, drop the hips down. Inhale, hips up. Exhale, down. Inhale, hips up. Exhale, down. And then release the hips. Drop the bottoms of the feet flat on the floor behind your knees are bent. Walk the feet to the outside edge of the mat. Arms come out to T. Drop your knees to the right. And give a really good press here. Opening up the side body. Inhale up. And exhale to the right. Inhale up. Exhale down. And up. And down. Bring the knees back up. Bring the knees back in. Arms stay to T. Chin is tucked. Bring the knees over to the right elbow so they hover, not quite touching the mat. Engage the pelvic floor. Inhale the knees up. Exhale all the way over to the left. Reach away with the right arm. Inhale, knees up. Exhale to the right. Reach away with the left arm. Side to side. And then come back to center. Straighten the left leg out. Hug the right knee in, pressing away with both heels. Engage the pelvic floor. Bring your nose up to your knee. Left foot up off the mat. Keep the shoulders relaxed. And breathe. Shoulders down, release the right leg down, draw the left leg in, squeeze the leg in. So sometimes you hold on the top of the shin, some people hold underneath the knee on the thigh, or just grab your pant leg and tug, or even use a strap to lasso the leg. Press away with both heels. Bring your nose up to your knee, right foot up just half an inch. And breathe. Release the head and shoulders down. Straighten your left leg out onto the mat and give it a good shake. And then windshield wiper the feet side to side. Once again, bend the knees, bring the bottoms of the feet flat on the floor behind the hips. Walk the feet out so that they're about hip width apart. Arms at your side, fingertips pointing to the heels. Chin is tucked. Inhale, lift the hips up. Feel the feet pressing down and the weight shift onto the back of the arms and shoulders. And then come down nice and slow. And we want the weight to shift onto the shoulders and arms. So if you have the cushion underneath your head, take the cushion out. Just for this. Inhale, back up. And exhale down. Inhale up. and down, just feeling, noticing the shift of weight onto the back of the shoulders. Onto the back of the arms. Keep the gaze steady. Keep the hips up in the air. Press down with the feet to lift up higher. Hold, breathe. And release the hips down. Bring the bottoms of the feet together. Let the knees splay out to the side. Bring your hands onto your belly. And now all of your focus to your breath. Breathe it into the belly, sternum, upper lobes of the lungs, right up to the collarbones. And you can put your blanket back underneath your head if you'd like. So notice where you feel this Anahatanasana. And you could explore this by having the heels really close to the groin or further away from the groin than they already are. Engage the pelvic floor and then bring your arms out to warrior goddess arms or goalpost arms. Straight out from the sides, elbows bent, palms out. Take a giant breath in and hold on to the breath for a couple of counts. Try that again. You could keep your arms in warrior goddess arms, or you could reach up even further, grabbing hold of opposite elbows or wrists. Keep the shoulders comfortable on the mat. And stay with that breath where you come to the top of the breath, hold on for a couple of counts, and next time you exhale, try that as well. Come to the very bottom of your exhalation and hold out for a couple of counts. One more, inhale, one more, exhale. Keep with that imperceptible 1 or 2 count hold. And then when you come to the bottom of your next exhalation, release the hands down, help the legs come back together. This time walk the feet to the outside edges of the mat, let the knees splay, or the knees drop in so that they're kind of resting against each other. And the hands come back to the belly. And feel that 3-part yogic breath. Breathe it into the belly, sternum, upper lobes of the lungs. See if you can hear yourself breathe. Begin the Ujjayi breath. Walk the feet back together, straighten out your right leg. Arms come to T, we'll move into knee down twist. So scooch over, roll over onto your right hip. Take the left foot, tuck it behind your right knee. Right leg is straight, and then the right hand is going to rest on the left knee. And you'll turn your head and look back at that left arm. And then pulse a little. Down, and then roll back onto the left shoulder. Bring the knee down. Just feeling ripple across the IT band, the outside edge of the leg. And stay with that deep Ujjayi breath. Back over onto your back, straighten out on the mat. You can scooch to the right side of your mat. Left leg's going to straighten out. Roll over onto your left hip. Place the right foot behind the left knee. Bring your right arm up to T. If this doesn't feel like anything, if you're so hyper flexible that the right shoulder's touching the mat and the right knee's touching the mat on the left side easily, then release the foot and bring you to the other side of the knee, or even straighten the leg right out to the left and hold on to the toes instead. Sometimes we have to play a little bit and get creative to find our maximum stretch. We want to find the edge and then ease off slightly so that we can still breathe. Still smile the ceiling. So pulse back and forth, knee to shoulder, knee to shoulder, knee and shoulder. Good. Back over onto your back again. We go back to the middle of your mat and hug the knees to the chest. We're going to cross the ankles and roll all the way up into a seated position and then roll back down with spinal twist. Back and forth on the spine. And if it hurts, take a moment to, just pause, grab a blanket so you've got an extra cushion as you're rocking and rolling. And then come all the way back up. And we're going to move back into downward dog. So we come forward, wiggle back on the mat. And then walk the hands forward, curl the toes under, lift up and back. Begin to press down with the heels one at a time. So we're curled up, massaging the spine, or we're stretching, stretch the spine. Work the Achilles tendon, the calves, hamstrings. You can pause on each side here. Feel the stretch in the arch of the foot as well. Crown of the head's dropped right down. And then drop your knees back down. And we're going to come up onto our knees for camel. So camel, lots of different ways to do it. We're going to start off with the modification with the toes curled under and pelvic floor engaged. Notice if you need an extra blanket underneath your knees. Inhale, the hands forward. And exhale, bring the hands all the way around behind you, right on to the sacrum. Again, establish a firm, stable base here. Press the hips forward. Lift the chest up. Squeeze the shoulder blades together and peek up. And release. I think we're going to leave it at that today with the modified camel. So that's good. And then come back down into a seated position. Come right onto your cushion once again. We're going to move into another twist, our spinal twist. So lots of times people do spinal twist. They do it with one leg straight. Let's just try that. Bring your left leg in and over your right. Press away with the right heel. Take your right arm, hug the knee in as much as you can. Take your left hand, scoop the belly over to the left. One of the things with the yoga practice is it's always good to come on an empty stomach, but depending on what time of day, it's impossible. So, you know, you scoop the belly over and just think, okay, I need to be kind with that digestive system. Right heel's pressing away. And inhale the left hand up. Exhale, reach around. So this is a modified spinal twist. The right leg straight. So if you have challenges with your knees and your hips, it's a great way. It might be just some days, this is how you want your spinal twist with the right foot, right leg straight. But you could give it a try. You could release from there if you'd like to, and tuck the foot underneath. But if you tuck the foot underneath and then the left hip is way up in the air, straighten your right leg. You want both hips grounded and stable on the mat. So you hug the knee in again, move the belly over, inhale the left hand up, and exhale, reach all the way around behind you, lift up nice and tall, and then look over your left shoulder. Turn your head, look over the right shoulder. And then look back over the left shoulder and close your eyes and picture what's going on with the spine as if you had x-ray vision. The waist down, moving to the right, waist up, moving to the left. So it's really similar to the twist on our back, but different. So just a little bit more added with the upper body. Inhale the left hand up behind you. Exhale, bring the left hand all the way around. Bring both hands down and you can come up and peek over the shoulder. And you can walk your hands all the way around if you'd like. It's almost like a little parlor trick. And you end up in spinal twist with the other leg on top. It doesn't always work though. So you could straighten your legs again and bring your right leg up and over. This time, maybe you're going to keep the left leg straight, or you could tuck it underneath. And the left arm hugs the knee in, the right hand scoops the belly. Inhale the right hand up. Exhale, reach all the way around behind you. As you breathe in, lengthen. As you breathe out, twist. So you're not leaning back into that hand. The hand's right behind the hips. And if it feels like it isn't going to touch the floor, use a block behind your hip. So you can place that hand right on the floor or on the block. Inhale, right hand up. Exhale, all the way around. Bring both hands down on the left, and you could give that a try. Bring your hips up, and then walk your hands all the way around to the other side, and see if all of a sudden you've moved into spinal twist on the other side. Sometimes it works, sometimes it really does. And sometimes you just feel like a pretzel and you wonder what happened. So let's move into shoelace. Left leg is straight, right knee is right on top of the left knee, and you could take the left knee now and bring it out to the left foot so that the legs are stacked. So you can see it's quite a bit different from spinal twist. So if this is shoelace with both knees stacked, then this is spinal twist, the knees up in the air. So it's the same thing. If you are working to get into shoelace and you've got problematic knees or hips and it just doesn't feel safe for you, meaning maybe you're in pain or anything like that, then you'll do your shoelace with one leg straight. Good. And lift up and over the waistline. Drop your shoulders back. Take a deep breath in. Exhale and come forward. Come up nice and slow. Once you're all the way up, release the legs. Give them a little bit of a rub. Straighten out your right leg, bring the left knee up and over. And it's really amazing how one side sometimes just comes really naturally, the other side is more work. So notice if maybe you need to keep your right leg straight, or if your body feels like, yeah, I think I could swing it underneath. And sometimes if you hold on to the feet and come up and do a little wiggle, you can get those knees stacked even better. And I'm still sitting on my cushions. It's always good. You could keep the cushions underneath your hips. Take a deep breath in. And slowly, slowly, slowly come forward. Notice any difference. Maybe you want to have your hands for support in front of you. Maybe you just want to stay straight. Listen to your instincts, your intuition. You can slowly come forward, dropping the crown of the head, moving into a deep Ujjayi breath. Your way up, nice and slow. Once you're all the way up, start that slow release. Once the feet are back together, knees are bent, you can just give yourself a little massage. And then straighten the legs, give them a bounce, and a windshield wiper side to side. We're going to come right back into table, back up onto our knees. From table, think about having a really straight spine, like as if you are a table. And once in table, bring your minds out to your tailbone, your coccyx. Tuck the tailbone under and feel the back slowly begin to round, and the mid back comes up, and then the Chin comes down. Drop the crown of the head right down. Keep lifting up. And then starting at the hips, right at the tailbone, tilt the hips. Till eventually the belly's down and you're going to look forward. And then go back and forth between these. Cat and cow, arching and rounding the spine. Curl the toes under, lift the hips up and back, walk it out once again with downward dog, let the crown of the head drop down. And then walk the feet towards the hands and the hands towards the feet. And we are back up into the standing position. And we'll do a little bit of our strengthening poses before we move into Shavasana. I think we have just enough time for a couple. So you could do this seated in a chair, or you could just plant your feet, coming into mountain, engage the pelvic floor. We have the resistance bands now, not the yoga strap. And out and in. Strong Ujjayi breath. Keep the pelvic floor engaged, the kneecaps drawn up towards the quadriceps, and move wisely. Make sure your strap is not old and tearing or anything like that, or you're not pulling it too taut. You can explore. All the resistance bands have different weights, right? So notice what's right for you. So there's not much use in being super flexible without being strong, or feeling like you're working your muscles and improving your bone density. And there's not much use in being strong if you haven't got any flexibility either. If you're so tight, you're going to tear, with any sudden movement. So it's nice to do a little bit of both, stretching, strengthening. And it's nice to feel it too. And if you're wondering how many to do when you're doing it on your own, then just always think, do it until you really feel it, and then do a couple more. And I think I'm still working with my vaccination shoulder. So I'm going to say that's enough for me. If you want to do some more, you can. After class, but I think that's enough for me. We'll switch gears, and this time we'll have the elbows tucked in, palms up, and then come out. Release. And again, if you want to do more, you could always do some more after class. Let's try that standing on it. And then gauge the pelvic floor once again. So the arms are coming up, shoulders drop back. release. You can move that tie out of the way. We're going to get into a nice wide stance. Besides happy baby, we haven't really moved into a squat yet. So you can wide stance, drop down, breathe. Shift your weight into your heels. Drop your hands down, come right back down onto your knees. Right back down onto your butt. And grab your blocks, or not your blocks, your balls again. And right to your calves. Lean back into the hands. Move a little forward and back. Sometimes you really have to wiggle them around. You might do circles, you might just go back and forth. Take a couple of deep gulps of air. Let them out with a sigh. And again. And then bring your feet, so you got 2 feet, your feet at both feet at the same time. Outside edge, inside edge, the heel, the ball of the foot. And then you can release the balls. So I'd like to encourage you today for Shavasana to set yourself up in a restorative pose. So if you have a couple of couch cushions, sometimes you can just take the whole big giant cushion off of the couch, and then some of you might have a bolster. And so you've got your bolster, you've got your blanket, and maybe you've got a pillow as well. Have a drink, water if you have your water before you settle in for Shavasana. And if you don't have an eye pillow, if you have a folded up washcloth handy, or the strap, you can even put the strap across your eyes. So just to make things dark when you come down. And you can have the feet lifted as high as you'd like. Wiggle the hips in. Use your folded up blanket, roll it up so your head feels really supported. Put your eye pillow or strap across your eyes. If you have an extra blanket, if you're even slightly cool, take a moment just to get up and grab it to cover up. So a little bit, a bit of a break for your lower back when you've got your feet lifted up like this and your knees up. And you settle in, allowing any tension to release as you exhale. So close your eyes and soften at the edges as if you could melt all of your tension, just melting away each exhalation. Settling deep. And then work with a visualization as you breathe in. Imagine you could breathe all the way into the soles of the feet, and then into the palms of the hands and up into the crown of the head. So picture as you breathe in. It's like a full body breath. beginning of class. Let go of any control of your breath. Let it be whatever it is. Just breathe. Just be. And then wiggle your fingers and toes. Turn your head side to side. You can roll over onto your side. And silently affirm to yourself, I am at peace. I am content. I am loved. Then bring yourself up to a seated position, and we'll chant this out all to end class. Inhaling. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Peace, peace, peace. And you could bow to the light within you and open your eyes and shine your light. Namaste. So namaste means I honor the place in you which is of love, peace, joy, and truth. When you are in that place in you and I'm in that place in me, we are one. So namaste recognizes divinity within each and every one of us. And I think it means a lot of different things. For some people it just means the beginning of class, the end